Darkness cloaks the aisles, and a single flickering bulb casts long, haunting shadows. These 6 spooky stories from Dollar Tree and supermarkets are so chilling, you'll think twice before shopping there at night. The faint creak of a shopping cart echoes through the empty store, and a chilling whisper dances on the air. These aren't tales from haunted mansions or ancient graveyards. These are the eerie stories lurking in places you visit every day. Welcome to Midnight Murmurs, where the ordinary becomes the terrifying. Tonight, we delve into 6 unsettling tales from Dollar Tree and supermarkets that will leave you questioning your next shopping trip. I'm your host, and tonight, we're venturing into familiar territory, the local Dollar Tree and supermarkets. These places might seem safe, but they hold secrets that are anything but ordinary. Imagine walking down a well-lit aisle, only to feel an unseen presence behind you, or picking up an item that brings with it a sinister past. These are not just stories, they are warnings, reminders that the mundane can quickly turn menacing. Prepare yourself for 6 spine-chilling tales that will make you think twice about your next shopping trip. Mia was a regular at her local Dollar Tree. She loved finding bargains, especially for arts and crafts. One evening, after a long day at work, she decided to make a quick stop. It was nearly closing time, and the store was eerily empty. As she walked down aisle 6, looking for some paints, something caught her eye. A doll, one she'd never seen before, sat on a shelf, looking directly at her. Its eyes were too lifelike, its smile too wide. Mia felt a strange chill, but brushed it off. It was just a doll, after all. She continued shopping, but couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Glancing back, she saw the doll again. Only this time, it was on a different shelf, closer to her. She froze, a cold sweat breaking out on her forehead. How did it move? She was the only one in the aisle. Panic started to creep in. Mia hurried down the aisle, determined to finish her shopping and leave. But every corner she turned, there it was, the doll, somehow always closer, its eyes boring into hers. Just as she reached the checkout, the lights flickered, plunging the store into brief darkness. When they came back on, the doll was on the conveyor belt right in front of her, its head tilted slightly, as if mocking her fear. Mia screamed, backing away. The cashier, startled, looked at her in confusion. "Ma'am, is everything okay?" But Mia couldn't speak. All she could do was point. The cashier turned to look, but the doll was gone. Mia left her items and ran out of the store, vowing never to return. The next day, she tried to rationalize what had happened. Maybe it was a prank, or maybe she had imagined it. Curiosity got the best of her, and she returned to the Dollar Tree. She cautiously approached aisle 6, heart pounding. The doll was nowhere to be found. She asked the manager about it, but he just shrugged. "We don't sell any dolls like that," he said. Mia knew she hadn't imagined it. She never saw the doll again. But every time she visits a store, she can't help but glance over her shoulder just in case. Was it a haunted doll or just a figment of her imagination? Mia would never know for sure. But one thing was certain. Sometimes even the most ordinary places can harbor something truly sinister. Always trust your instincts. And if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Jake worked the night shift at a 24-hour supermarket. He liked the quiet and the fact that he could do his job without too many people around. But one night, around 2 a.m., he noticed something strange on the security cameras. A shopper, dressed in old-fashioned clothing, was wandering the aisles. It was odd because Jake hadn't heard anyone enter the store, and the doors had been locked for hours. The man seemed out of place, almost translucent in the camera feed. Jake felt a chill, but decided to check it out. Maybe someone had managed to sneak in. He walked down the aisles, the store's fluorescent lights casting a sterile glow. Every aisle he checked was empty, but as he approached the back of the store, he heard a faint humming sound. Turning the corner, he saw the man from the camera standing in the dairy aisle, staring at the milk. Jake's heart pounded in his chest. "Excuse me, sir, the store is closed," he called out, trying to sound authoritative. The man slowly turned to face him, and Jake felt the blood drain from his face. The man's eyes were hollow, his face a blur, like a poorly tuned TV. Jake blinked, and the man was gone. Panic set in, and he raced back to the security office, checking the camera feed. The man was there, still in the dairy aisle, staring into the camera, as if he knew Jake was watching. Jake's hands shook as he picked up the phone to call his manager, but when he glanced back at the screen, the man had vanished. The manager arrived and searched the store with Jake, but there was no sign of the mysterious man. The manager chalked it up to a faulty camera or Jake's tired mind playing tricks on him. But Jake knew what he had seen. He quit the next day, refusing to work another night shift in that store. No one believed him, but rumors spread among the staff about the midnight shopper. To this day, the night shift workers sometimes report hearing a faint humming in the dairy aisle, and none of them dare to check the cameras alone.
Some say the man was a ghost from a time long past, doomed to wander the aisles forever. Others believe he's a residual spirit, a fragment of energy caught on a loop. Whatever the truth, Jake learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes it's best to leave the past undisturbed, especially when it comes to things that go bump in the night.
Olivia had always been a bargain hunter, and the Dollar Tree was one of her favorite spots. One day she found a beautiful vintage mirror for just $1. It was old and slightly tarnished, but it had a certain charm that she couldn't resist. She brought it home and hung it in her bedroom, pleased with her find. That night, as she got ready for bed, she noticed something strange. The reflection in the mirror seemed off, slightly delayed, like an old video feed. She shook her head, blaming it on her tiredness, and went to sleep. Over the next few days, Olivia's unease grew. She started noticing things in the mirror that shouldn't be there, shadows moving in the background, fleeting glimpses of faces that weren't her own. One night, as she stood in front of the mirror, she saw a figure standing behind her, its face shrouded in darkness. Olivia whipped around, but her room was empty, heart racing. She turned back to the mirror. The figure was still there, its hand reaching out towards her reflection. She stumbled back, knocking over a lamp, and the figure vanished. Panicked, Olivia took the mirror off the wall and shoved it into a closet. But that night, she had nightmares of dark figures and cold hands. When she woke up, the mirror was back on the wall, hanging as if it had never been moved. Desperate, Olivia took the mirror outside and smashed it with a hammer, shattering it into pieces. But even as the shards lay scattered on the ground, she could see the figure's face reflected in each one, smiling. Some things are better left where they are found. Olivia learned that a simple mirror could hold dark secrets, and that once you invite something into your home, it's not always easy to get rid of. Be careful what you bring home from the store. It might bring more than you bargained for. David was a stock boy at the supermarket, responsible for restocking shelves and keeping things in order. One evening, as he was working the late shift, he noticed something odd. The frozen aisle was colder than usual, the air thick with an unnatural chill. He shrugged it off, assuming the freezers were just working overtime. But as the night went on, the cold became unbearable. David's breath came out in visible puffs, and his fingers turned numb. As he approached the end of the aisle, he saw something that made his blood run cold. A figure was trapped inside one of the freezers, pressing its hands against the glass. Its eyes were wide with fear, and its mouth was open in a silent scream. David stumbled back, blinking, but when he looked again, the figure was gone. He tried to open the freezer, but it was locked, the door frozen shut. A thick layer of frost covered the glass, obscuring his view. David called his manager, who dismissed his concerns, saying it was just a malfunctioning freezer. But David couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone was trapped inside. That night, he dreamt of the figure, its eyes pleading, its hands banging against the glass. When he returned to work the next day, the freezer had been removed, replaced with a new one. No one talked about what had happened, and David knew better than to ask. Some mysteries are better left unsolved, especially when they come with a chill that reaches down to your bones. David quit his job soon after, unable to face the frozen aisle again. He learned that not all things can be explained, and that sometimes the past leaves traces in the strangest of places. Emily had a routine. Every Saturday morning, she would do her grocery shopping at the local supermarket. But one day, as she reached for a cart, she felt a sharp pain in her hand, like a static shock. She pulled her hand back, startled, but the cart seemed normal. As she wheeled it through the aisles, strange things started happening. Items fell off shelves, lights flickered, and she felt a constant, unnerving presence behind her, as if someone was watching her. In the cereal aisle, she felt the cart pull away from her, rolling down the aisle on its own. Emily chased after it, but it turned a corner, out of sight. When she found it, the cart was in the middle of an empty aisle, spinning in circles. As she approached, the cart stopped suddenly, and a cold wind blew through the store, rustling the bags of chips and making the hair on her neck stand up. Panicked, Emily abandoned the cart and rushed to the front of the store. As she reached the exit, the automatic doors refused to open. She turned to find the cart behind her, blocking her path. Its wheels creaked, moving towards her slowly, deliberately. Emily screamed, and the doors finally opened, letting her escape. The next time Emily visited the store, she avoided the carts altogether, opting for a basket instead. But she never forgot the haunted cart and the sense of malevolence that came with it. Some say the cart is still there, waiting for its next victim, ready to follow them through the aisles. If you ever feel a cart move on its own, be sure to let go. Some things have a mind of their own. Sophia worked as a cashier at a Dollar Tree. She enjoyed her job and the regular customers she met. But one evening, as the store was about to close, a customer walked in, a man in a dark coat and hat. He browsed the aisles, picking up random items. Sophia watched him from her register, noticing that his movements were strange, almost jerky, like an old film. As he approached the counter, Sophia greeted him, but he didn't respond. He placed his items on the conveyor belt, an odd assortment of candles, matches, and a mirror. Sophia scanned the item, but when she looked up, the man was gone. The store was empty. She checked the security footage, but the camera showed nothing. Confused, she returned to her register, where the items still sat. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and a cold breeze swept through the store. The candles on the belt lit up on their own, their flames dancing in the air. Sophia felt a hand on her shoulder, but when she turned, no one was there. Sophia screamed, knocking the items off the counter. The lights flickered again, and everything went dark. When they came back on, the store was empty, the candles and mirror gone. Sophia quit her job the next day, unable to explain what had happened. The store manager reviewed the footage, but all he saw was Sophia talking to herself and knocking over items in a panic. Sophia never went back to the Dollar Tree, haunted by the memory of the unseen customer. Some say the man is still there, wandering the aisles, looking for someone to notice him. If you ever see someone in the store who seems out of place, trust your instincts. Not everyone who walks through those doors is alive. Do you have your own spooky story to share? Have you ever experienced something chilling at a store or supermarket? Leave your stories in the comments below. And if you want more spine-tingling tales, check out our other videos for more chilling content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that will make your skin crawl.